Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I am so happy to be here again today. But what about this whole sense of right and wrong, how people treat you, what you believe is important, who validates you? Today, we're talking about a sense of belonging. Belonging, right? That's what we're talking about today, a sense of belonging and how we're actually motivated by the way we feel, the way we believe people are treating us or not treating us. And really, it all comes down to you, right? So, this whole thing, this life, this thing we're doing, this walk, this everyday um, experience, it's really about me versus me, right? You versus you. And so this sense of belonging is, this thing is real, right? This thing is real and it is impactful. And, we need to know that we are really accepted and that, that we matter. Like we matter to somebody, like somebody's checking on us, like all of this. So the effect of belongingness is important. The sense of belonging in action. So the need to belong, also known as belongingness, refers to a human emotional need to affiliate with and to be accepted by members of a group. And sometimes you just got to accept yourself, right? So my name's Angela M. Odom, and I'm the founder of the Better You Project and the host of the Better You Leadership Podcast. I teach women how to lead themselves. Um, that's the first thing. It's all me versus me. It's all you versus you, right? So a sense of belonging involves more than some simple thing of being acquainted with somebody, with other people. It's centered on gaining acceptance, on gaining the attention of or the support from members of a group, as well as providing that same attention to other people. Like it's back and forth. Like we belong. Like we're together. Like we have a sense of entitlement to this feeling that we have. Like it's familiar. Like we have some things in common. Are we share same attitudes and values and standards. We expect people to conform to certain norms. Um, and so when I talk about a sense of belonging, really, I'm going to stand by on my, I guess, my sense, my belief that who I am, how I show up is already okay. you know, I don't need to be around you and have to tiptoe or shrink or have to, code switch or have to sit up a little straighter. Nope, this is who I am. This is who I am, and either you choose to accept me as I am, understanding that we're all growing and moving and working towards something and aspiring to be all these great and wonderful things. And so that's where I am today, focused on belonging. Today is November 1st. It's the first day of the 11th month of 2022. And that's my word for the month, belong. That's my word for the month, right? Like that's the only place, only spaces I'm going to allow myself to be is where I belong. And oh, by the way, I belong everywhere I am. However, sometimes I show up at places and clearly, clearly, there are limits, there are judgments, and sometimes I'm not dressed appropriately. I like wearing, I really do like wearing flip flops everywhere I go. Sometimes you can't wear flip flops. Like, so I understand how people sometimes are like, hey, lady, what are you doing? Everybody in here wearing high heels. Well, guess what? I had back surgery. I'm not wearing no dad blasted high heels. I wear flats. And so that's a crazy example, but you know what I mean. I want to be in a space where I belong. I want to be where I'm accepted and appreciated for, just being quirky old me, right? And so, what does that mean? You have to be prepared to be rejected. You have to have uh, know where you get your validation from, because everybody is not going to be for you, with you, about you, checking for you. And what does this mean as we lead, right? What does this mean? So, when we're talking about affiliation with different groups or organizations or people, or we're talking about the same types of foods and beverages, these things, we're talking about friendships and what that's predicated on, right? So we're talking about all these things, and it's it's a sense of being alike, affiliated with other people, right? And so sometimes you just got to know that it's okay not to belong, however you want to. Let's just step back and talk about um, Maslow, Abraham Maslow. Let's talk about Abraham Maslow. He's the person, the man who uh, brought us the hierarchy of needs, right? The hierarchy of needs. Five. He says, as he's explaining it, he was all big shot in like 1943, and when basically belongingness, he said it is part of one of our major needs that motivate human behavior. The reason we do certain things, um, Mr. Maslow said, is predicated on various needs that we have as humans. And when we start looking at those needs in a hierarchy, you think about the first set of needs being physiological, your food, water, breathing. So if you're hungry, like a kid at school, hungry, then they're not focused on whatever the lesson of the day is, water, thirsty. Or if you've ever been in the presence of someone who has oxygen, the need to have um, external oxygen. Well, there's nothing else they want to focus on until they get that thing set just right. Their oxygen level is going well. Or if you have run as hard as you can, and all you can do is you know try to grasp for air, then in that moment, that's the only thing that's important, is breathing, getting air in your lungs. And so those are physiological needs, which are vital to survival. And so this is Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs we're talking about, in the sense of belonging. We're not there yet. So that's that first need: food, water, breathing. You've got to have, um, this include like shelter and clothing. And so, like, you got to be have that level first met, and then security and safety go into the next level. And so, at the second level of Maslow's hierarchy, the need starts to become a bit more complex. At this level, the needs for security and safety become primary, because you've taken care of food, water, and breathing. Now you're at, okay, financial security, health and wellness, safety against accidents or injury, or somebody, beating you, because a lot of women are focused on this security and safety need because they're in dangerous situations. Somebody right this minute is, uh, you know, kicking, scratching, slapping, spitting on them, right? So physical safety is an issue, and someone might right this minute being, a rape victim. Safety. This is real talk, right? And so some of those other security and safety needs is just simply having good, decent health care, moving to a safer neighborhood, some of those things you could do, right? Some actions that you could take to be safe. We want you to be safe, right? We're teaching women how to lead themselves, and And so that first need of physiological food, water, and breathing. And then the second level, as Maslow explained it all those years ago, security and safety needs, and then social needs. The third level being social needs in Maslow's hierarchy include love, acceptance, and belonging. So that's what we're talking about today. Once those other two levels are taken care of, because ain't nobody talking about thinking about none of this until you're in a safe space, that you have air and water and food and safe housing, those things. Because if you have some kind of physical ailment, some kind of pain, then that's all you can focus on at that moment, right? So at this level, the social needs level, the need for emotional relationships drive human behavior. Some of the things that that might satisfy this need include, your friendships, romantic attachments, family relationships, social groups, community groups, churches, and religious organizations. That makes sense to you? Does that make sense? So, in order to avoid, loneliness and depression, and this need or this feeling of being separated, not necessarily connected, um, there's also anxiety. Sometimes we're anxious about so many things in this day and age. So it's important for people to feel loved and accepted by others. You think about personal relationships with your friends, your families, and your lovers. They play a very important role, as does involvement in groups. For some people, religion um, plays a very large role in their life, right? Religious groups, sports teams, because I'm just watching the Falcons um, football player, the NFL football team, the Atlanta Falcons, watching them play the Panthers the other night, and I was all into it. And then of course I'm able to connect with others who are into the same game, and so bam, bam, now we're connected. Now we're um, high fiving one another, one another thing, say, hey, bring me another drink. We are connecting on that level. And so, and then for me, book clubs, I love to be inside of a bookstore, right? And I don't know what that is. I love to touch them, feel them, smell them. I just love it. And then there's other group activities that you might find a space where you feel safe, and some kind of community groups. Like for me, I also own the domain DOMAIN, register show up vote.com. And so what does that tell you? I love to talk to people about civic engagement, voting, the election process, how to show up prepared, all those things. So that gets me pumped up. And then there's so many people in that space that I can connect with. And so belonging to different groups and being affiliated with different organizations, and you meet people in those same areas. And then of course, your own family and all that kind of stuff. So belonging. So that's social needs, and that we're walking through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then there's the need for esteem. At the fourth level in Maslow's hierarchy is the need for appreciation and the respect. Once the needs at the bottom three levels have been satisfied, then esteem needs to begin to play a more prominent role in motivating behavior. Um, so it's just important to gain respect and appreciation of others at this level. People have a need to accomplish things, then have their efforts recognized, right? So you've got everything else taken care of. And sometimes I refer to these as rich people issues. Some people have like first world problems, and then some people have rich people problems. And you put those when you think about it, like first world problems are going to be more akin to safety, security, water, sleep, safe environments, and then you go all the way up. And you're like, whoa, hold up. All those things you're whining and complaining about, because it could be perceived that way based on your perspective, right? They might um, not be for everybody, and that's okay. Depends on where you are, right? And then there is the highest level, self-actualization, at the very peak of Maslow's hierarchy, or the self-actualization needs. And this is when people are self-aware, concerned with personal growth, and they're less concerned about, the opinions of others, and they're more interested in fulfilling their own potential. And this is not like flat, like dang, like once you hit it, then you're there all the time. Nope. It ebbs and flows, as life allows us to have different experiences and, growth opportunities. So it ebbs and it flows. And so you could, very well be, at some kind of heightened sense of awareness. And I just learned, like a couple of weeks ago, that, one of my sorority sisters' uh, house like burned down to the ground. So you're up one day, you're down the next, right? And so there's she and her family, husband and, kids, dog and cat, all have to, um, deal with that. So now it's back to food, water, safe place to live, right? And then it's you go all start all over. So as we're talking about the sense of belonging, I went the long way around talking about Maslow so that we get a sense of where that is, um, in our growth and development, where that is in our safety, where, belonging is, in our belief system. Like, where is that? So we have, um, this need, right? We have a need to, be accepted, to be heard, to be seen, and, you are in um, certain stances, certain positions. You're positioning yourself to be heard, loved, respected, fed, positioning yourself for all these things. So the effect of belongingness or not. So when we're talking about leaders, women leaders, and we're talking about belonging. Sometimes, if you're going into a corporate space, you're going into a social space, and your need to belong outweighs your common sense. Your need to belong, to get in, and to, lower your standards, your need to, be heard is greater than your need, um, for esteem, your need for, boundaries, right? So you have to think about, it's one thing to want to belong, but sometimes people just don't want you, right? They don't want you in your group, in their group. They don't want you, hanging around. They don't want you, right? And so you have to recognize what that looks like. And if you're in a space where from A to B, like by May of next year, I will have achieved A, B, and C. By May of next year, I will have, improved upon, this particular skill or talent. I will amplify A, B, and C. And so you have some goals along the way. You know who you are, and you have support. Like, you don't even need the validation of these people who you are insisting, that accept you. Right? You don't need their validation. What I would want you to do, right? What I want you to do is understand your needs, your goals, and then the skills, the talents that you are seeking to improve, then get them improved, grow them, regardless of, the people that you are engaging with. So we know we talked about Maslow's needs. This is what you need, right? And, and sometimes you're going to be, uh, in environments where people don't respect you, don't appreciate you, and then sometimes you ain't showing up the right way. If we're very honest about this thing, sometimes you want to be, a big boss, big baller, and you hadn't done the work, right? And so they might be right. So we're talking about belonging and that need in that sense. So from a scientific, perspective, then you get it based on Maslow, like on his research. Bam, we get that, like that need. And then, oh, by the way, perhaps those people that you are uh, trying to get to accept you are not your people. And the people that you need, that you want, that you really are going to benefit the most from, they're like in a whole different area. So go get that talent, that skill, upgrade it, and then get on to your group, right? And then, oh, by the way, if you just want to force your way in to do that, now let me just make sure. Let me step all the way back and make sure this makes sense to you. It is a human need to want to belong, to want to be accepted and appreciated, right? To affiliate with all these different groups. Um, and I just say step all the way back and determine what it is you need in this life at this time. What do you need? What do you want? What are your goals? And then go for it. And then your people, the people who are for you and with you, they're going to show up. I believe that. It's always been my experience. I should say that, right? So, good morning, Mo. I see you. And so that's what we're talking about. Just become more self aware. Oh, by the way, look at that. Like, if you can see me, my glasses, they're like all out, right? There's like one lens that's out, which is so crazy. I cannot, I've got like three pair of glasses where the lenses are out. Like one is out. Every time, what is that about? So anyway, and so I go to places where people accept me with my one lens. I know y'all like my sense of humor. If you don't, it's okay. So with that said, um, I want you to. I think that thing. I think it says "thrive where you grow" or something. It goes with this potted plant. Um, if you were the potted plant, and wherever you are, then grow there, thrive there, show up there, be present there. And it might not be the perfect fit, but perhaps it's the fit you need for this moment so that you are continuing to progress, right? Like continue to progress. Just make sure you're safe. I just can't get enough of this safety and security when we're talking about Maslow's needs. Your need to be secure and safe are real. So let's push through that. Okay, with that said, the sense of belonging, we understand where it came from, where it is, and I think the other part of that is know where you validate it, right? Okay, with that said, prayerfully that made some sense to you. I do want to know where you are listening or seeing or hearing this episode. Some of you are on Facebook, some of you are on Instagram, some of you are on YouTube, some of you are actually listening, right, on one of the podcast platforms. And so just tell me where you are listening, where you are experiencing the Better You Leadership Podcast. It's my own informal poll to see where the most people are getting this information. So what are we doing, right? What are we doing? We're over here growing, thriving, showing up, being present. We're over here pouring into ourselves. We're over here showing up for ourselves first and then serving others from the overflow. We're over here becoming more uh, physically, fiscally responsible, like money wise, right? We're over here making sure that we are growing, right? That we are becoming more um, developed, right? We're over here eating right. We're over here making sure that um, that the people who say they love us actually show us, right? We're here giving good hugs and receiving them. We're over here making sure that we are whole and healthy. We're over here laughing out loud. we're over here sharing good jokes. That's what we're doing. And so when we show up in our corporate spaces or in our entrepreneur spaces or in our social spaces, we're showing up authentically. That's what we're doing. We're showing up authentically. That's what we're doing, right? We're showing up authentically. We're showing up, making sure that we are respected and safe. We're showing up. That's the first thing. I heard a lady say the other day to me that she was not a good public speaker, right? And guess what I asked her to do? Speak in public, right? I heard a lady the other day tell me that um, she wasn't sure what she wanted, and so guess what I asked her to do is to give herself some space to think about what she wanted and come back to me. And so I do leadership coaching, right? So I want you to just consider the sense of belonging and what it is you will sacrifice and give up to have that, right? I want to ask you right now, like, how many boundaries are you willing to accept to have that sense of belonging? I want to ask you right now, who in your life you do not want to be affiliated with, and get them jokers out of your life. I ain't talking about your kids. They you always take care of them. Stop acting crazy, right? And so that's the question is belonging, the sense of belonging. Just make sure it's actually going to benefit you. But first you have to know what you want, what you need. All right, you all take care. Oh, I got my shirt on. Say when we all vote, right? When we all vote. I love this shirt. All right, you all take care. Have an amazing day, and may the good Lord continue to bless you and yours. Now, let's go and um, do something great today. Let's go do something wonderful today. Let's go do something amazing today. You all take care.